Hey everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Crystal Valenzuela, and I am the medium behind crystalcan.com, .medium. Wherever you find me, I'm a medium. um, Thanks for joining me today. Today I'll be doing some mediumship readings, and I want to share with you what I have coming out. Let's see here. Hey Lisa, how you doing? And if you're just joining, if it's your first time, drop me a comment, say hello, let me know where you are joining from, and we'll get started in just a bit. So I want to jump in pretty quickly here so that I can get through as many readings as I can. I just want to share really quick. I had a free class last weekend called Price of Peace, and it is the introduction to my upcoming Money Woo class. And so I taught this class, and what I like to do is I send out the recording for whoever's registered but couldn't join live. And when I went to go edit the recording, it was inaudible. Excuse me. Excuse me. It was inaudible, and there was like a crackle throughout the whole entire thing. Hi, Stuffer. Thanks so much for joining from LA. I'm in San Gabriel Valley, so we're like neighbors, basically. Um, yeah, so I did this class. The recording was unusable, and my partner is an audio editor and mixer. So I showed the audio to him, or played the audio for him, and he tried to fix it. And he's like, I think you just need to do the class over again. And I kid you not, this is the second time this happened in the last 6 months, where I did a podcast interview and then the audio was like unusable. The volume was like a roller coaster, basically. Some people were very low, some people were very high, and then throughout it, there was a lot of static. And they asked my partner to fix it, and he's like, I think you just need to re record your episode. So, I'm taking this as a sign from the universe that I need to do a do over so that more people can participate. So if you didn't know about it, or if you weren't able to join the first time, head over to actually join my mailing list. And you can join my mailing list by heading over to my website. And you will get, I'm sending out all the content related to what this class is about over the next week. So you'll not only get access to my free psychic development playlist, all videos, but you'll also get the content related to this Price of Peace and Money Woo program. And if you're wondering, well, what is Price of Peace about? Like, what's Money Woo? It's at the core of it, it's a manifestation program, but it's focused on money and wealth. And it's funny because the focus is on manifesting money and wealth, but also manifesting money and wealth is best served when you avoid the money and wealth. So it can sound real counterintuitive, but that's why I want to share this class. And yeah, so let's jump right in. Um, what I'm going to be doing is some evidential mediumship. So what we'll do is we'll do some breathing. I'll go through and share your readings. And then if you are chosen for a reading, if I do a reading for you, I just ask that you share in the comments how it resonates for you, because that way it helps other people feel more comfortable, see how the experience makes you feel, how it benefits you, and it opens more people up to experiencing this for themselves. Um, Awesome. Thank you so much, Ira. So, if for anyone that's joining, you can just check out the comments to see how to get a reading. And so, for the folks that are here, let's start with a few deep breaths and I'll walk you through them. So, we'll start by breathing in through the nose, holding it, and then exhaling, and I will count you off. So, find a comfortable position, whether that be sitting down or laying down. And you could be reclined in your seat or you can be sitting up straight. And you can gently close your eyes. And let's begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose for 2, 3, 4, holding it for 2, 3, 4, and exhaling fully and completely for 2, 3, 4. Breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling fully and purposefully, 2, 3, 4. Last deep breath in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling, 2, 3, 4. And allow your breath to return to its normal rhythm, feeling the air enter your lungs, cycle through, and then breathing out all the tension, all the energy you've picked up throughout the day. And as you continue to breathe, you feel the energy release from your head and your neck, flowing down into your shoulders, feeling your shoulders warm and relax, the energy flowing down your back, over your muscles, down into your hips, gently relaxing, moving down your legs, over your knees, and into the ground. And as your energy flows off of you and rejoins with the earth, it cleanses and filters through the dirt, through the earth, until it connects at the earth's core. And when it meets with the earth's core, it's as though this golden ball of light is amplified and reaches even further, reaching across miles and miles of earth and land, reaching up back into your body, re-energizing you and lighting up every cell of your being. And as the energy enters you and each cell lights up and the next cell lights up, till eventually you are a large beam of light. And take a moment here to think of your intention, whether it be a person or whether it be a question or an area of your life that you'd like guidance on. And allow that intention to grow at your heart until it gets bigger and bigger and it releases and you set it free into the world, trusting that it goes exactly where it needs to go to serve your highest good. And when you're ready, you can gently bring movement to your fingers and to your toes, and gently bat your eyelashes open and return to the space. And you can play emoji roulette and choose any emoji and drop it in the comments. And I'll be reading anyone who volunteers an emoji. Hey, Claire. Long time no see. And Claire, you joined. I don't know if you joined after my little monologue, but I'm doing round 2 of my money class. So let's talk later. um, all right. I'm going to start with Lisa, and we'll see how far we get with this. Okay. So Lisa, I see someone standing behind you, and it feels like a teddy bear figure. And it feels like a teddy bear figure in the way that this person has like a big presence, and like bears, they're cuddly. It does feel like it's a male energy. Just trying to get a feel for which side of your family this person is from. Okay, so this is not a person from either side of your family. This is a guide, and the guide has a very, it's a bear guide, and he has like a bowler hat and like the collar with a necktie on it, and um, even though I get like almost like grizzly bear vibes, and grizzly bears are very strong, aggressive, um, very ferocious animals. But it feels like with that energy that this guide also has a very like, um, I keep wanting to say prim and proper, but it doesn't even necessarily feel prim and proper. I feel like, okay, so the word is respectful. Like there's all this power and energy behind this guide, but there's also so much respect and togetherness is a word that comes up, but it feels like structure, focus. So there's so much respect and focus within this energy, and that's why it comes off as a very like proper bear. It has all of this wild creative energy, but it doesn't feel chaotic. And he tips his hat like, "Yes, that's what I want to be shared." And I feel like this guide, it's like a motivator and an inspiring um, presence in your life, because as I see how it is interacting with you, I feel like there's a lot of tension and pressure being removed from your shoulders. And it's almost like a boxing coach, because this bear walks around you and is kind of like pumping you up, um, getting you psyched for for whatever it is that you're doing. And it also feels like a very benevolent energy because in addition to pumping you up and psyching you up, there's a lot of affection and love being shared. I've read for you several times before, Lisa, and I feel like this is a recurring theme for you, that there's um, dancing and movement. And the way I see this with this particular guide is that um, this guide is twirling you around them, just like there's so much movement and there's so much flow. And when I see it, it feels like this kind of movement, like there is a somatic release um, happening through this movement. So, like some people do yoga, some people exercise. And when you do that, you're moving your energy and you're releasing it. And it feels like this dancing or this dance is symbolic of movement, but this dancing movement is specifically to let go. Um, I find dancing to be so disarming because you might feel really embarrassed or ashamed because of a lack of style or aptitude in dancing. Um, but it could feel so disarming when you finally do it because it's so fun and then you just are like, why did I feel so silly again? This feels amazing. And I know that I am remembering that one in particular, there was a reading where it was you in a red dress dancing, and I feel like it looked like ballroom dancing, but it was like a salsa dress. And I feel like you're entering a new phase of movement and creativity because this feels very jazzy and like there's a lot of tapping, like tap dancing and jazz in this kind of movement. So as you're going into this new phase, um, what is it that's in this new type of movement that Lisa needs to know about? It feels like just continue to enjoy yourself because as I see you doing this tap dancing movement, there's just so much raw joy and emotion. And I even see like this is like it's work. Um, you're super sweaty, like you're really getting into it and you're really burning the energy. And what keeps you going is that it feels amazing. Oh, you've been doing Pilates. Keep at it because it feels like, yep, your guide. I feel like your guide brought you to it, um, and that you need to keep like this is where they led you, and to continue with it. He's going like this, like, yeah, that's what you need to say. Okay. I f The way they show me you, it almost looks like, you've lost I feel like you've lost weight, um, and I feel that's what I'm seeing, like a slimmer version of you is also you're shedding a lot. So it feels like, you're working a lot of it off in all the sweating, but that you're also shedding so much more than physical weight, that shedding is also representative of energetic weight that you're releasing and so on. And I feel like um in one of the first readings I did with you, that there was some relationship aspect in it, but I feel like there's so much more self-confidence and um, so much more self-love and self-worth that as I see a partner come up that you just like without question you just are like no, I'm not dealing with this, or no, Um, there's no space for that in my life. And I feel like what you're going through right now, it's important to like fully connect with it, fully connect with yourself, fully connect with the experience that you're having. And by that, I mean, I see that there's a lot of viewing it, but allowing yourself to really indulge in all of the senses. So as you see yourself, allowing yourself to speak to yourself, because I see mirror work. I see you looking in the mirror, and it's like a silent admiration. And what I feel like the my attention is being drawn to is do um, to look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. Give yourself those words and words, loving words and praises, and to allow yourself to touch yourself, like hug yourself, like admire and give yourself the gentle stroking or caresses, like telling yourself that you are loved and showing yourself how it feels to be touched with love and respect and safety. And that's a big one. I feel like that one is a big one is to like touch yourself and allow yourself to show yourself affection. What else? I feel like you are in a space where you're just like the confidence is so high and you are just feeling your own energy, and it feels very fierce and unstoppable is what it feels like. Um, but and that's fantastic. However, guide also wants you to know to also be flexible and that there is a reason to why the journey is so can be so curvy and take you on weird loops and stuff because it just feels like um sometimes when we set ourselves when we sometimes when we have so much confidence we set our sights on a goal and we have tunnel vision to that goal, but we forget that the way there that how we get there could be very different from what we expect. And I'm I'm just gonna say it. I feel like you're headed on a journey, and it's not direct. That you're gonna get there, but it's not direct. And so, not to take it out on yourself, to know that it's not that to know that you didn't do anything wrong, but to know that this is also part of your journey. Okay. And Mr. Bear says that's it. So thank you, Lisa, so much for letting me work in your energy. Just gonna clear. Okay. And let's see here. Hello, gorgeous. Yes, you are hello, gorgeous. Okay. So I'm going to read for Stouffer. So Stouffer, if you're still here, drop me a comment. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next person. So Claire, um, I'd love to connect with you afterwards. Let's talk about what you've got going on. Um, and Claire, if you're still around, I'll actually read for you next. So if you guys just joined, um, go ahead and drop me an emoji. Well, first say hi. Say hi. Hi, new people. And then let me know where you're joining from, and then drop me an emoji, and I'll read from there. So Stouffer, I'll go ahead and read for you. Let's see here. Okay. So I didn't explain how I get my messages. So I'm going to explain that right now. I see images and symbols in my mind's eye. Sometimes it looks like motion picture because there's a level of interpretation there. I may feel sensations through my body that tell me that what I've interpreted or shared is what they want you to know. I also hear things, so sometimes I just hear words, phrases, sounds, songs. And depending on the energy that's coming through, it can sound like a whole conversation. I also feel things through my body depending on what spirit wants me to feel, but mostly different parts of the body relate to different parts of your mental, emotional well-being, and that is part of the message. And then when the juices really get flowing, then I start to see it. Sorry, it starts to pop up in my head as if it's my own thought. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing so far because it's very playful and interesting. So the first thing I saw was a dinosaur, and it reminds me of like the Littlefoot dinosaur um, from Land Before Time with a really long neck, but it looks really cartoony, but it's also green. And when that dinosaur shows up, I'm like, okay, show me who the person is. And it focuses on the dinosaur. And then the dinosaur, because the dinosaur is showing up from behind you. And then the dinosaur's neck comes like around, and a person slides down the dinosaur. So I feel like, and this is coming from dad's side of the family. So I feel like there's a lot of play and humor and childlike energy on dad's side of the family. The person that slides through, I see them is a person with it looks like an older gentleman. He has very white hair. Um, when they slide down the dinosaur, their hair is like it's like wind blowing in the hair, and so I can't really tell what kind of texture or like what kind of style they wear their hair in. But they have a very thick gray mustache, and on top of that, they have a very round nose. And that round nose really reminds me of like I wanted to say like a German or Hungarian nose, like a very like when they have really big round noses. Kind of reminds me of Harry Potter's uncle from the movie because I think he has a really round nose and a really thick mustache. But this person is not a stout person. They're very slim, um, and that's what they look like. When I see this person, they're wearing a white t-shirt and jean shorts. And it feels like this person's personality is very much a charmer. He stands up from sliding down this dinosaur, dusts himself off, and then bows, like leans forward and to like shake my hand and is like, hello, and is like that. Okay. I asked him the question if he passed, if it's been a while since he passed, because that he's communicating with me with conversation as opposed to a lot of imagery. Like I see this playing out in my head, but I also hear a very clear conversation. Usually that's like a more evolved spirit. Sometimes that means that it's been a while since they were passed away, but not always the case. And he says, no, it hasn't been that long. And when I ask him, well, how long has it been? He's like putting up fingers, and I'm like, can you come closer? Can you be more clear? And he says in my ear, 2 years. It's been 2 years. Is that clear enough for you? Okay. He says, he says that he is your daddy's daddy. So that's grandpa on dad's side. He says, I was with him, and I apologize, I don't know your pronouns. And I hope I'm correct here because your picture is really small. I can't tell. He says that he was with you when you were a little boy, and I used to watch him all the time. And we used to play a lot. And when he says we used to play a lot, he shows me with you on his knee and being bounced a lot as a small child. Says you guys used to get in a whole lot of trouble together. Um, and it sounds like I'm gonna call him Grandpa. It sounds like Grandpa has an accent, um, kind of like almost like a southern accent. It's like there's like a twang to his voice. He says, "Yep, I'm not from California." Okay, I don't. I'm gonna roll with this. If anything doesn't make sense right now, put in your pocket, save it for later. Take what resonates and leave the rest because he's just telling me so much, and I'm just gonna share with you what he's telling me. He says he's from Texas. He's saying his mom, I can't tell if he's saying used to work in a barn or used to stay in a barn, but there's also the word ranch in there. So it feels like there's some sort of like farmhand business going on. Saying he grew up like Huck Finn, and I feel like that means that um, a lot of like free range pastime. And he's saying he shows me like a young, pretty blonde woman, and he's saying that when they met, um, it wasn't love. And I feel like this is grandma, I suppose. He says that when they met, it wasn't love, but he learned to love her. He talks really fast, so I'm just asking him to slow down. He is a really fast talker. Okay, so he's showing me a red truck, like it's like a classic vintage red truck, and it looks like it's in incredible condition. Okay, I'm gonna just get him to slow down a bit here. Okay, so when I see how he is supporting you from the other side, it feels like he brings a lot of this very like quick, fast energy to you, even to how he moves around you. Because I see him like go like this. It's like he's trying to get your attention, but he moves so quickly that it's almost like if you thought that something happened, you would probably also question or doubt yourself because it's so sudden. And energy, when we experience energy, it's so subtle already, but it's his energy is so quick and fast that even that would feel like, Did that just happen? I don't know if that just happened." Um, so then it's almost like I have to freeze frame it to see what's actually happening. And so there's all this movement around you that he's doing to try and get your attention, but then it feels like it's because he's doing so much around you. So when he finally slows down, I see him hold you by the shoulders, and it's like you're staring at yourself in the mirror, and he's whispering into your ears, and I see it. And when he's talking into your ears, it's like he's trying to give you a pep talk. And um, I actually feel like when you you're looking in this mirror that there's a lot of shame and doubt and a lot of negative self-talk. And um, oh, thank you for dropping your pronouns. Okay, so I see that there's a lot of negative self-talk and it feels very dark. Um, when I see you through the mirror, it looks like an emo kid where you have very dark hair, you're wearing a lot of black, and it feels like the energy is drained from you because even your skin appears very fair and pale. Um, and so it feels like grandpa, we'll call him, is trying to lift up your energy, trying to raise your vibration by speaking into your ear. And it feels like there's a lot of talking you out of the negative self talk. And when I see you, it feels very heavy. It feels like you are very, I mean, we keep saying negative self-talk, but it feels like you're very hard on yourself. And it feels like there is lots of grief and it feels like there's lots of energy being held back, being held onto. And I feel like this person, like the physical person, is is like a smaller person, not like petite, but like, okay, maybe you're just what would be considered average BMI or whatever. But then when they show me the energy that you're holding on to, it's like you put on one of those inflatable sumo suits. Um, and that's how much energy you're holding on to. So when I slow down Grandpa and I hear what he's saying, it's like the first thing is breathe, to remember to breathe instead of holding your breath. And even as that happens, I feel like the feeling of breathing, of taking in more oxygen, is such a foreign feeling to the body because there's so much tension and anxiety that it's giving me a headache. And when I see it's this act of breathing is meant to help you um, process and move the energy, but because so much is being held on to, it's going to feel um, emotionally heavy, and there's going to be a lot of emotion expressed because it feels like there's going to be a lot of crying involved, like a lot of emotional release involved. Um, Even as I take deep breaths and try to move through what what I'm seeing here, um, I see you take the breaths and then you break down, like you cry and you collapse. And that's okay because you will get back up. And one of the things I heard Grandpa say is that you are so much bigger and taller than you allow yourself to be. So it's like I use this analogy in readings. This is my water bottle, so if you ever have an in-person reading with me, I will use it as my mannequin. So if this were you, it's like they're holding you like this. They're holding your shoulders, your arms like this, and talking to you like this. And he's telling you, it feels like he's holding you up too, and it feels like you've shrunk yourself. And so that's why he says you're so much bigger than you allow yourself to be. He wants you to talk to him more, call on him more, ask him for help. Um, he wants you to go into nature to connect with him. He wants you to, it feels like going for a hike. And I don't know what part of LA you live in. So this could be like really inaccessible for you. But it feels like a drier hike. It feels like a walk through Los Angeles State Historic Park, which is in Chinatown. It feels like it could even be a hike through Runyon Canyon. LA's so big and spread out, so depending on where you are, it feels like it is a drier hike, that you go through and that you're able to connect with his spirit and speak with him. Um, that helps in general because when you're in a city, there's all the different energy from the population being really dense, there being all this electricity flowing through in such a small area. And so when you get out into nature and you're disconnected, all of those all of those factors are quieted down, and so being able to connect with spirit is easier. And he also wants you to write him a letter. So until you can get out into nature and connect in that way, write a letter and write a letter like you're expecting a message back. And I feel like he's going to visit you in your dreams to give you those answers. Um, okay, so he says, but don't expect me to get back to you like right away. Ha 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 ha. And there's a lot of that like fast talking and then ha 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 ha. Like that's the kind of personality he comes off as. He's a really, really fast talker. I don't know if you know this, Grandpa, or if this person resonates with you, but this person is a really fast talker. Okay, so he showed me the symbol that was it. Um, Actually, what he said is, okay, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I'm going to let you go. Ha 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 ha. And then he's gone. So I'm just going to clear my energy. Thank you. Thank you, Stopher, for letting me read your energy. Okay. Claire Bear, let me know if you still want me to give you a reading. Let's see who's here. Okay, let's talk after Claire. So I'll give someone else a reading. So Mina, hi from Phoenix. Thanks so much for joining. Rady, hi from Zimbabwe. And I know that's not your real name. Aisha. Yes, Aisha. Hey, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining today. Hi, Marie. Thanks for joining. Okay, I think I have time for one more at least. We'll see how quickly we can get through this. So, if you haven't, if you are new and you're interested in a reading, just think about your intention or the person that you want to connect with. Today, I'm doing evidential mediumship, and just drop an emoji in the comments, and Spirit will help me choose. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Mina, I do feel like I'm going to read you next. So let's see. Okay. The first thing I see is this Peter Pan character peeking out from behind you guys. Um, this is interesting because everyone is starting out from peeking out from behind, and usually I see it on people like it's a grid. So let's see. Peter Pan, how are you related to Mina? Hmm. Okay. This is coming from. Okay. So I see this Peter Pan type character, reminds me of the Disney Peter Pan character that, like the Disney movie. He's wearing the green outfit, he has the tights, he has a little pointy hat with a feather in it or whatever. And I ask him to show me how he is related to you, and he shows up around your knees, around your like below the waist and legs. I don't know what that means. We're gonna figure it out. But when I see kids, they usually show up in a different area. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna share whatever they want to share, and you let me know how this resonates. Because sometimes they don't tell me how they're related to you. Okay. If the first thing that I'm gonna call this person Peter Pan until we figure out who they are. But so Peter Pan shows me he's like poking you at your knee joints, like tapping on your leg from the side and tugging at your shirt. I almost feel like it is a child because of the way they're behaving, like how they're interacting with you. Just asking him to come closer. So what I'm feeling is it has very, I mean, obviously Peter Pan, but it has a very childlike energy and it has the very pure, like innocent, baby-like energy. And I was asking it to come closer so that I could feel it more clearly because it did show me kind of this baby face. And when it showed me this baby face, it was like it was sucking on its thumb or something. So it looks like a really young child. The other thing is that when I get that it's this very pure, like gentle, soft energy, childlike, I see Thumper from Bambi, and Thumper is the bunny. And even the way that Thumper talks, um, it's like this droll of a speech, uh, and it's got this very like little boy voice. Okay, so I brought, I asked the spirit to come closer. And when it came closer, it was um, a baby. Like when I brought it closer, it was like, oh, all of a sudden I'm holding this baby in my arms, and it's this baby boy with really dark hair. And I ask, oh, is this your child? And your higher self or the avatar that I see of you says yes. Let me just double check on that. Okay, so I was asking it again if this is your child. And then I was asking, but is this a child that you've already had, or is this a child waiting to come? And I hear that this is a child that is waiting to come. And I'm basically having this conversation with your higher self about this child. And when I ask, is she ready to have the child? Your higher self says, oh, no, no, no. But all the while, your higher self is nurturing this child. She says, if you want to have the child is ready for you and the child is waiting. And when I talk about this child as yours now, my heart feels very tight and constricted. And it feels like there is a lot of fear to open up to it. The vulnerability that comes with parenthood, the vulnerability that comes with fertility. It feels like there's a lot of fear related to that. And I think that's really fair because what I hear is that there's a lot of fear related to losing a child. Um, I think, and I also think that that's a very common occurrence. Even as I think about the other women in my life that have had recent pregnancies, that they also had the same fear. Like they didn't even want to mention to anyone that they're pregnant until they had the baby because there's so much fear of potentially losing the baby and the grief that you go through. But this is a risk that it feels like this, okay, feels like this is a risk that you just have to decide if the reward is worth it for you. Because I'm going to put this in baseball terms because I have a baseball family. And there are baseball players that love the game and they go through the whole minor league system of like trying out, being in minor league ball, being called up to the majors, playing, getting dropped, not being wanted or traded. And they come back, but it's not because someone else kept an eye on them or helped them. It's because the desire within them remained and they were so passionate about it that they were going to try until it happened. So their will carried them, their love for the game carried them the entire way. And that's what it feels like when it comes to deciding the risk versus the reward. There's so much like the fear is the risk, but you have to choose for yourself. Well, then is that risk worth the reward of this? Because if it's something that you love and care for so deeply, that will carry you through whatever obstacle and whatever wherever the journey takes you. Because this baby's not going anywhere. As I see your higher self, um, with this baby, it's like you are caring so intently for this baby, and this baby is so attached to you. Like it's almost like in the cartoons, um, Boss Baby, how Boss Baby is so agile and almost like a cat, where you're nurturing this baby. I'm speaking with the higher self. The higher self is conversing with me, and then the baby's just like holding on so tightly to you. Okay, and when I feel into how you are doing, like what are you going through right now? It feels like um I'm going to call it overwhelm because that's how I identify with what I'm seeing. I see a lot of crying and it's almost like it feels almost like stress, but it also could be just overwhelm. Excuse me, my shirt is unbuttoning. Um, so if I see crying and it's like this, and it's almost like in the movies when someone has reached their breaking point and they're just screaming in the street and it's raining and you're crying and you're soaked in rain, you're just like, ha, why? And that's what it feels like what you're going through. And sometimes we are our own worst enemy and that we create such a complicated existence for ourselves that we don't realize that we are our own limiting belief. Um, because in this image that I see, there's so much anger being expressed and released, but there's so much it's raining. So it feels like the anger I don't think that you're actually going to be in rain, but I think that the anger is actually cleansing you. The anger is actually releasing for you. So it feels like if you have these feelings built up inside of you, letting them go, um, allowing yourself the space to express them is the sigh of relief. And I feel like there's a really silly side to you. um, that there's a really silly, playful side to you that's hiding underneath all the emotions that you're holding. And I see this as it's like you're singing and it's like you're sweeping the floor and you're using this broom and then you're singing into it and dancing with it. And it also feels like this may even be like a younger version of you that did this. But it feels like a youthful, playful side of you. And it feels like the reason why that comes up is because a lot of times as we grow up, we think that growing up means being more serious when seriousness is actually not required. Like, no seriousness necessary. I think if anything, it's just like respect. Um, because respect can be playful. Respect can be playful. Respect can be humorous. They want me to tell you this story about how, um, okay, I interviewed for this job. The hiring manager said it felt like I brought my whole self to the conversation. I showed up as my whole self. And I could be really silly and really playful and joke around a lot, but it doesn't take away from that I get the job done, that I'm very responsible. So even though I'm very playful in that sense, at no point do my clients ever have to wonder if I'm taking care of their issues. And I feel like that's you, like allowing yourself to be more of yourself, because there is space for you in every setting to be all of you, whether how playful or childish or silly that you are. And then when I see you, it's like when you see in a comic, there are like those hairy lines that mean like a lot of energy or even like anxiousness. I feel like I see that, but the more you allow yourself to be this playful person, um, it smooths out and the energy calms down. And it's almost like when when you're holding back on your authenticity, that um, that's actually making you anxious. So sometimes I have group readings, sometimes I have readings or whatever, whenever I'm in a session with a client, and sometimes they feel really nervous and anxious. And it's a function of your psychic awareness because you are sentiently feeling the energy. In these settings, we raise the energy because it makes it easier to connect. And so what's happening with you is you're not raising the energy, you're saving the energy, you're holding on to it. And so that's what's creating the tension, the stress, and the buildup. And okay, I feel like at home, in the privacy of your own home, that it feels like you could use more music and sound and movement, and it feels like clapping and dancing and allowing you to enjoy music in the privacy of your own home because it feels like that was a really big part of how like you let loose and enjoyed yourself, and it feels like you need to bring more of that back into your life. It also feels very saucy and sexy, um, but your higher self is like, here's the mannequin. Let's pretend that this right here is a shoulder. You're like, just let her know everything's gonna be all right. Like, and everything's gonna be all right. That is what your higher self did. So I see a lot of, as the music and the dancing happens, I see a lot of color, a lot of red. So a lot of return to your roots, a lot of return to what you're familiar with and getting in touch with yourself. I see a lot of color, I see a lot of dance, it feels like actually even traveling is what it feels like. But I feel like that part right there, everything's gonna be all right. And then it's like everything's gonna be all right. And then turn. I feel like that was the completion signal. Uh-huh. And your higher self goes, mm-hmm. So allow the different parts of you out. So thank you, Mina. Please share in the comments how that may have resonated with you. Thank you so much for allowing me to read and work in your energy. I'm just going to clear my energy for a bit. Thank you so much, everyone. If you are interested in a private reading or a group reading, or are interested when I offer intimate group readings, then head to my website, join my mailing list. I have the Price of Peace, my free class, coming up next weekend at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's 1 p.m., 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's a free class. It's an introduction to my Money Woo class. All the information can be found on my website. So thank you for being here. See you next month.